Hello and welcome back to Assetto Corsa for yet another video on the Nordschleife challenge. Thank you very much for joining me in today's video, and this is the Lamborghini Gallardo LP570-4 Superleggera. This is the predecessor to the Lamborghini Huracan. I think probably the predecessor to the Performante. Maybe, I'm not entirely sure, but the model is indeed the predecessor. So this is Lamborghini's lightweight sports car, supercar. Not as powerful as their flagships, which are like the Aventador, the Diablo, whatever's going to be coming after the Aventador, the Murcielago, those kind of things. So this is the lightweight version. This was around the similar time as the Murcielago, and going into, I suppose, into the Aventador era, sporting a 5.2 litre V10. This car produced 562 brake horsepower at 8,000 RPM with 398 pound-feet of torque, 540 Newton meters at 6,500 RPM. This was an all-wheel drive vehicle, but I believe it does have a substantial rear bias, unlike the Gallardo Valentino Balboni edition, which was a rear-wheel drive with a manual gearbox, which would have been awesome if we had that in Assetto Corsa. Unfortunately, we do not. Therefore, this one has 6-speed paddle shifter. So it's still a manual, but it does have the paddle shift, and you don't have a clutch or anything like that. I would have really liked to have the Valentino Balboni edition in here, just so that you could have 600 odd horsepower in a relatively modern vehicle with a clutch and having to shift gears yourself. But there we go. Top speed on this car is 202 miles per hour, 325 kilometers per hour, with a 0 to 60 time of 3.3 to 3.4 seconds. The tyres on this car, on the front are 235/35 R19s, and on the rear are 295/30 R19s, once again cementing the fact that a lot more power is going to be going to the rear of the car as opposed to the front. Despite this being an all-wheel drive, it does still push that power back to the rear, and of course this is a mid-engine supercar, so a lot of the mass and therefore the weight is going to be on the rear wheels, or just ahead of that rear axle. I think that is all the information about the car. Actually, there is one thing I have forgotten to mention, and that would be the mass of the car, as I was just talking about that. I believe this car has a mass of 1,340 kilograms or 2,955 pounds. So it is a fairly lightweight car. This is why I said it's one of the lightweight supercars, not as heavy as their full flagships. Should be an interesting one to drive. I think I've driven this a little bit some time ago when I had my G27. I have not driven it since. Speaking of driving, where is this going to be coming up on the rankings? So I have the rankings pulled up in front of me right now, and just taking a look at the times. Currently in the lead we have the Porsche 911R with a 7 minutes 39. This thing is not going to be getting to that. It's those hypercar road tyres, I'm fairly sure of it, which might lead me to expel that particular car unless I can figure out how to put street tyres on it. However, I do see this car being in the range of the Audi R8 and the McLaren 570S and the Lamborghini Diablo, and that sort of range. of Ferrari F40, though I think there is more in the F40. The 458 Italia, if this car handles similarly to a 458 Italia, maybe I will get somewhere near that, but that is going to be interesting to say the least. The 458 was just a very, very good car to drive. So my prediction on this is going to be somewhere between 7 minutes 50 and 7 minutes 54. That is my prediction. There's only one way to find out. Of course, as usual, I'm going to be doing a couple of Patreon laps, getting used to the car, making sure I understand how it feels before what you see after this intro, which will be me pounding around the track for a couple of laps, 2 or 3 laps, trying to get a lap time on the board. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And of course, if you do want to support me on Patreon, link in the description box, and you will get to see that extra lap when I put it out on Patreon, which should be around the same time as when this video is going out. I think that is everything that needs to be said. This is the second V10 I am driving, I think, in quite some time. So I had the R8 last time out, which was a V10, and now this is a V10, and before that I'm not sure what the last V10 was that I drove. So there we go. I do like the V10s. Let's get started. So here we go. I have just dropped the I've reset the timers, ready to go. So just reset the session after the Patreon laps, and ready to put down whatever I can. Now, of course, again, just as a reminder, I think this is going to be between the 7-minute 50, 7-minute 54 mark. So that is between the Ferrari F40 and the, I think, just after the Diablo, which was a 753 something, 753.9. So I think that is where it's going to go. Anything slower than that, I think I've done this car a massive injustice. So we'll have to actually see. The thing about this car, and I mentioned this obviously on the Patreon bit when I was practicing, the car, though it's on the same platform as the Audi R8, it just feels so different from the R8. It's like completely different. I'm not even sure what to make of it in that sense. It's so Italian. The car is so Italian, whereas the Audi was, well, so German, and so specifically Audi. This just feels like, in a way, this feels a lot more like the 458 than the Audi. And you'd think that this would feel more like the R8 than the 458. But no, this feels more like the 458. I suppose that is that Italian styling, that Italian, I'd say, engine build maybe, but just the way they set their cars up. I think I am being a little extra cautious around this. The reason being is that in the Patreon laps I was sliding this car around quite a bit. And obviously sliding is not the fastest way around the lap, unfortunately. As much as it might be a cool way around the lap, it certainly is not the fastest way around the lap. As I start sliding just there, have to control it. So I think that this car is very, though it's all-wheel drive, it is very rearward biased, and that gives it quite a nice rear-wheel drive feeling, which I do like. I think that's awesome to have that sort of feeling in a car, because I think that rear-wheel drive cars are really nice. The good thing about this is with that all-wheel drive, it does accelerate a little bit better, because obviously you do have that split. Probably about 75-25, I think. So you do have that acceleration that you may struggle to get in the 458, but it does not have quite the same level of acceleration as you get from the Audi, which I think is it distributes its power a little bit more evenly across all four wheels. What you do not get from this is any of that Audi understeer, that's for sure. If anything, you end up struggling and fighting with oversteer a lot more. So you just have to be wary of that. And also, it doesn't give you the confidence. I will say this, it does not give the same confidence as the 458 in terms of, okay, I can push this car further, I can push this car further, I can push this car further. This is more like, okay, so when are you going to kill me? That's the sort of level of I'd say engagement with the car. That's your relationship with the car. Whereas with the 458, it's like, yeah, I can eke out another tenth here, I can do another 2/10 there, just because of the way the 458 is designed and it handles, and you think, yes, this is going really well. With this, it's no. It's like, yes, I want to eke out more time, but every single corner, and I do genuinely mean every single corner, whether it's a fast corner, slow corner, a hairpin, whatever, this car is, every corner is a corner where it could kill you, without a shadow of a doubt. So you've got to, for example, there, that's a uncharacteristic understeer. That was definitely too fast through there. But yeah, every single corner, without fail, is this car going to kill you? And the answer there is, if you're not very careful, yes. Any corner could be its undoing. This corner right here could be its undoing. This one here could be its undoing. This little jump here could be its undoing. That corner there, coming down here, certainly you're going flat. You think, oh, that shouldn't be too much of a problem. No, in this car it is. Over here, problem. This one. Yep, this one here looks flat to you. Yes, it is flat. Could still be a problem. So do not underestimate the car. It's dangerous. But it is very, very good. And I actually think driving this around here, I actually think it's faster than I think it is. I'm just going to say that. Just as I've taken this around this track, I think it's faster than I think. Even this corner, I've been sliding around this corner as well. Yes, I literally in the Patreon lap, at points, I was just drifting the car. Without any... I wasn't trying to drift the car. The car was just drift. Like maximum power, maximum torque, just everything I've got. Pedal to the metal. Let's see what lap time I come up with. Now I think the best place to brake here is in the compression. As we come down there, hard on the brakes, because again, as I said, I just do not trust this car. There we go. 41, 42. That's interesting. Was that a 46? I think that might have been, you know, and I think... Well, that's already put it into third place. That's a lot faster than I thought it was. Okay, this could be a competitor to the 458, which has been in second place for quite some time now. Could this take it on? So I'm looking for a, I think it's a 44.4 to beat. Now I'm not saying I can do it. There's probably very little chance of me doing it, given that this car is so much harder to drive. But it could be done. I'm looking 44.464. That's the target time. No. See what I mean there? The car just went... Right, I'm going sideways now. Now you want to catch me? You can try. Even there, the car just wants to go sideways. We're at a 45 flat. That leaves 6/10 of a second to win, to beat the 458. I'm gonna say to win this, no, to beat the 458. I think both have really won in this. The 458 is great. This is great. It's just different. Oh, can I do this? Ooh. So now we're talking teeny tiny amounts here. For example, around this corner, I could easily gain 2 or 3 tenths. And then into here, I could easily gain or lose that exact same time. Come on. Now I am really pushing and trying here. But at the same time, I know that this car is not the kind of car that, as well, there, you just saw there, the car just wanted to step out. I'm fairly sure for an instant I was faster than the 458 on the allotted time or the predicted time, but not anymore. Not anymore. That was a pretty good corner, actually. Come on. Trying to be really smooth, but at the same time, just very nervous about it all. Like, really nervous. Sorry, not much talking now. There's a lot more in the way of concentration. You have to make sure that you've straightened up the wheel if you end up touching that grass. So the best thing to do is do not touch the grass. Now I think that was all-wheel drive there. I definitely felt a lot more grip there than I would than in the Ferrari. That was definitely all-wheel drive helping me out around that corner. Surprisingly, that felt more stable than the what do you call it, the R8, which I know I'm comparing this to a lot, but really, if you think about it, it is the car that has the comparison. Well, that and obviously the 458, which I'm also comparing it to, but I'm comparing it more to the R8 just due to the platform that it's on. Right, do not bin it here, because this is where it's really easy to lose control of your car. And I mean really easy. Through this section here, you just touch that curb on the brakes a bit, touch that curb, that's good. There goes the car. That's what I meant about it's really easy. Third gear is probably my best bet here. On the brakes a little harder. Second, just to get the car, help the car turn just with that extra touch of wheel spin, the over rotation, just slightly. Okay, I think I could brake just a little later here than I did in the last lap. That might have been just a tad too late because the car did then, I think the rear wheels felt like they were locking up a bit. I'm not sure if they were, but come on, hold it around here. There we go, that's going okay. Again, more corners that can very easily trip this car up. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're clear of those. Back on the brakes. This corner, again, easy to trip the car up, and this corner. There it goes. Slight, again, my fault. A little bit too fast there. With some uncharacteristic understeer. And we are up to 4th, back on the brakes. Because, again, the brakes on this car are not as strong as you'd think, actually. That's something that has surprised me. The strong brakes, do not get me wrong, but they're not as strong as you think. The car does not stop as well as you think, and I'm not sure if that's the brakes or the tyres. But they just do not slow the car down as much as you would want it to. Okay, this is a couple of corners to go. Easy to crash, still easy to crash. Going to be extra careful here. Have to be. That was probably as close as I can get it. I hope I'm in second. Yet that second, that felt like second. And the lap time is a 7 minutes 42.1. Really? I need to double check that now before I put that up on the board. Where is it? Where would my lap times be? Oh dear. Not there. That was a 7 minutes 42.123. Okay. 7 minutes 42.123. That's quick. That is quick. That is 2.3 seconds faster than well, actually it's a bit more than, it's 2.341 seconds faster than the 458 Italia. And I'll be honest, I felt like I could probably get another half second out of that car, at least with my skill and my level of practice, which is just the two laps. Okay, interesting. Well, that goes on your screen now, and we have a new sitter in second place. That is the Lamborghini Gallardo Superleggera LP570-4, which I'm not going to put the entire name in there. I'll just put Lamborghini Gallardo, probably LP. Sorry, not LP, SL. Although I know there was another version of the SL, but I think that's probably the best way to do that. So that has gone into second place, overtaking the Ferrari 458 Italia. And do you know what's really surprising about it, actually, is that looking at the lap time, at the fact that it's a 42, and I think I could probably have got that into the 41s. It puts it only a second and a bit ahead of the Porsche. So that is really interesting, and that's a really powerful Porsche. So maybe the Porsche lap time is not actually so terrible. But there we go. Now to go onto the how does it feel to drive? It's a very good car. It's a very good car. Not quite as good as the 458 Italia though. It is certainly faster. It's not quite as poised. It's not quite as yeah, it's just slightly below that. I would say that despite its difficulties in driving, I'm just trying to figure out where exactly I would put it. I think it should go into 7th place, So that's just behind the 458 and ahead of the BMW 1M Coupe, which was a really good car to drive as well. So if I do that, that goes up on your screen now. 7th position, nice and easy. And there you go, that's your top 10 now for the drivers. So you got the 911R in first place, the 718 Cayman, so that's 2 Porsches at the top of the timesheets. Whoa, wobble. Then you've got the Skyline, the M3 Evo, which I think maybe is a couple of places too high, the F40, which should be above that, I think, the 458, this, the 1M Coupe, the Exige S, and then in rounding off the top 10, since the NSX is now out of the top 10, is the Lamborghini Diablo. I was going to say Gallardo. Lamborghini Diablo VT. So that is where I'm going to end this particular video. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to hit the like button if you like this video, subscribe to the channel for more videos on Assetto Corsa and perhaps more on the Nordschleife challenge. Leave a comment in the comments box below letting me know what you think. What were your thoughts on the lap time? What were your thoughts on my driving there? Hopefully that was something that you saw and said, yep, that's a pretty decent lap, pretty decent driving, hopefully. If you can do so, please do consider supporting me on Patreon at www.patreon.com/ECGadget. Your support would be massively appreciated. It would really help me out. And also, you can find me on social media at ECGadget LP for both Twitter and Instagram. Lastly, if you want to join my Discord server, please do go check out the link. There is a free invite to a couple of the channels to build up a small community. So please do go check that out. Join in on the conversations. That is all from me. See you next time in Assetto Corsa for another car around this green hell.